Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lee and I like to talk about anime, manga, Korean dramas, and fashion, so if you are into any of that, then stick around. Today's video I'm going to be talking about the winter animes that have come out and my thoughts on them. I am going to split this video into two parts because there are 3 animes that haven't completed that are coming out next week, and I will talk about those then, and I'll also share what spring animes I'm going to be watching because I don't have a lot on my list for that yet, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of research before then, but I hope you like the video. So 2 animes that ended right before this winter season started that I really enjoyed was the new season of Demon Slayer. I thought that was really great. I'm really excited and curious to see what is next for the Demon Slayer seasons. They've already confirmed the next season, which I was not surprised about because of how popular Demon Slayer is. So I'm really curious and excited to see what that'll be. The second show that was in the previous season was Blue Period. Now, I've talked about Blue Period before. I highly recommend it. I think Blue Period is a really unique anime for what it is. I think that the animation style is really beautiful. I haven't seen a lot of shows similar to this, so I really appreciated the fact that it felt new and fresh and it was really interesting to watch. I loved all of the characters and I'm currently reading the manga, so I kind of hope that it gets some kind of thing. I think they've confirmed a movie for it, so I'm really excited to see that too. So the first show that I watched, which I'm going to include in this video, isn't actually a new anime, but I had it on my list from the previous video that I had done talking about what I was going to watch this season, is the sports anime Tsurune, which was the traditional archery, which is incredibly beautiful and powerful and strong, and I've always wanted to learn it. When I was studying abroad in Japan, I got to try it, and it was really beautiful, and it's really hard to do. So I was really excited about this anime. However, I was extremely disappointed in it. Maybe I went into it with too high of expectations, but I kind of wished they had focused more on the teacher and not necessarily the students. I felt the students were okay. I wasn't particularly drawn to any of them or any of their stories. I found their teacher to be more interesting of a character, and I found his backstory and everything to be more drawing me in, and I liked his character design. Maybe that's because I'm getting older and I'm drawing away from shows about high school students, but I was really more intrigued by their teacher. The show is still pretty good. I'd give it like a 7. I would recommend it if you're looking for a sports anime to watch, but it wasn't my absolute favorite. It did also feel like they were dragging out the show when it didn't need to be. Like, it kind of felt like it shouldn't have been as long as it was, and they were just dragging it out to fill an episode quota. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts about it. I would love to see like an adult version of this with adults doing the sport. This is gonna be a long one, and I have notes for it because I don't know, I didn't love this show. Just to start off with, it's Requiem of the Rose King. I would probably give this a 4 out of 10. I didn't love it. I know a lot of people really like the manga and have said that the manga is better than the show, which, not surprising. First, to start off with, I didn't love the animation style at all whatsoever. I found it to be very staticky and hard, and I don't know, I just didn't enjoy watching the art style. I found the transitioning to be, like, between scenes to be a bit awkward, and almost they blended them a little too seamlessly where sometimes I couldn't tell that we had switched scenes until we were about a minute into it. If you haven't seen Requiem of the Rose King and you don't know what it's about, it is about 2 feuding families trying to keep and take away the throne in England during the Middle Ages. It's basically between the White Roses and the Red Roses, if that's the easiest way to take it apart from the 2 families, is how I saw it. And it follows our main character, Richard, who was born, and their mother basically constantly is saying, "You're a demon, you're awful, you bring nothing but death and destruction with you wherever you go." And later it's revealed in the first episode that Richard was born neither male nor female. They were born with characteristics of both. Therefore, their mother has deemed them a demon. And I kind of wish they had talked about that aspect of the show more. Maybe they did and I just didn't understand what they were saying. I found the show to be incredibly complicated and the characters to be incredibly unlikable with no redeeming qualities, which I've heard a lot of people who read the manga felt the same way about the show, how in the manga the characters, they can go in more in depth about them and you can see their backstory and why they behave in certain ways, and in the show they just rushed it. And watching the entire show and watching each episode every week, it really felt extremely rushed, and it was hard to watch it because I'd sit down to watch it and I just would get stressed out watching it. Felt like I was running a race with these creators, and it was like, okay, maybe just like take a breath. I know you're on a budget, but like I need some more context. And the whole pacing of the show felt extremely rushed, which clearly they didn't have the budget for it, and it's an in-depth, really complicated manga. There's a lot of characters, there's character deaths, there's a lot of changing of the royal family. It goes back and forth a lot. You're watching a bunch of civil wars happening too, so you're in the process of following that. And because you're following the feud between the two families, it felt like they focused more on that than they did about the characters, which was really a shame because I was really curious about them. This is also just a personal opinion. I found the relationship between Richard and King Henry to be incredibly creepy and strange and weird and uncomfortable, and I found watching their scenes together to be incredibly uncomfortable. And in the end, in the last episode, in the last scenes, I was so confused. I really don't even understand how this show ended because I'm just so confused. Like, I understand the changing of power happens and I understand Henry is now gone, but I don't understand what Richard does in the end. I really just wanted more backstory and more thought process into their head. So my overall opinion on this, it just felt rushed. It felt like they skipped a lot of important details that were needed, and it didn't really make me want to read the manga, which is sad because I know a lot of people really like the manga. So that's just my opinion. Take with that what you will. I'd love to know your thoughts if you did watch Requiem of the Rose King, especially if you've read it and watched it. Personally, for me, it was not my favorite show of the season and I wouldn't really recommend it. However, my favorite show that I watched the entire season, and I think in a long time, that I highly, highly recommend, and I have recommended to a lot of my friends, is Sasaki to Miyano. Sasaki to Miyano is one of the cutest BL animes that I have ever seen, and I'm already planning on reading the manga. It's so heartwarming and fluttery feeling, and it has quickly become one of my comfort animes, the same way that Horimiya has. It gave me that same energy as when I read Horimiya the first time, and I loved that about it. It follows Miyano and Sasaki, who both go to an all-boys high school in Tokyo. Miyano is really shy and quiet and innocent, and he really loves to read and is really passionate about BL manga. He says, "I'm not gay, I just really like BL." Then he meets Sasaki, who is tall, confident, brave, and saves his friend from a bunch of bullies. And he immediately is drawn to him, and the two of them become friends. And Sasaki starts reading BL because of Miyano, and they trade manga and they talk and they become friends. Spoilers up ahead now because I have to talk about this show. It's so freaking cute. Every episode gave me butterflies, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and we can talk about it later. But every episode gave me butterflies. Watching Miyano slowly go through the process of realizing he has feelings for Sasaki was so freaking cute, and just watching him figure out who he is and realize that, like, this is the person I like and he likes me for me, not because I have a cute feminine face, but he does like my cute feminine face, and that's okay. He likes me for me, was so adorable. And then Sasaki, such a flirt, but also such a freaking gentleman. Oh my god, him constantly being like, I can't push you, I don't want to push you, I don't want to force you into anything that you're not used to. made my heart sing. He's so sweet, and he lets Miono take the time to really figure out what he wants, even though you know that that's really hard for him because he likes him so much. My heart got butterflies, and I was so excited every episode watching them. They're absolutely adorable. The last episode had me screaming. I was so excited. I'm also so pumped because they've announced they've been greenlit for a new project. Now, they said at the end of it, the translation was they've been given the green light for a new anime. The manga, however, is not far enough ahead for a second season. So the question is, if they're gonna wait, have the manga continue, and do it that way. Are they gonna have a movie? Are they gonna do an OVA? I don't really know what they have planned. I don't really care what they have planned. I will take any scraps of these two boys because they are absolutely adorable. I love this wholesome BL. I find that it's really hard to find really cute wholesome BLs like this, so I adored it. I think it's great. I highly, highly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching. I know there wasn't a lot of animes mentioned in this week for this conversation, but I feel like I had a lot to say about Requiem of the Rose King and Sasaki Tomiyano, so that was sort of why I was doing that. But also, next week I will talk about the Case Study Vanitas, Salaryman's Club, and Love of Kill. And I will also tell you what I'm going to be watching for this upcoming spring anime. So I'll see you next week.